What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hollywood Unveiled, where we pull back the curtain on the Hollywood entertainment industry and get to know the people and stories behind the magic. I'm Jake.
I'm Logan.
And Logan?
Da, 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 da.
There you go.
To Indiana Jones. That's right. We are talking about Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981, starring Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, Karen Allen as Marion Ravenwood, Paul Freeman as Belloc, John Rhys Davies as Sala, and Denholm Elliott as Marcus Brody. Also, very fun to mention there, also Ronald Lacey as Tote, I think is his name. Face Melty.
Face Melty.
Yeah.
The German Face Melty.
I've watched this movie hundreds of times at this point. Every time someone's like Tote, I'm like,
He had a name?
and then they're like, the burn guy. Oh yeah, him. Oh, okay, right, yeah. So yeah, this is a really fun adventure movie that is always just a blast to kind of jump into. Do you want to kind of get into it?
Oh, absolutely. This is an absolute favorite of mine, and I'm so glad that Dr. Jones could join us today.
Well, how better to plumb the depths of this movie than to aesthetically dress.
I guess I've got a similar tan going on here, but like not planned, but
no,
and definitely yours wasn't. So
well, clearly no, there's no way this was planned. But yes, okay. So, Raiders of the Lost Ark, original title: The Adventures of Indiana Jones. Originally, kind of came about because Spielberg badly wanted to make a James Bond movie, and he had been turned down twice. But then George Lucas had this idea, and he came to Spielberg and he said, I've got something better than Bond. And he pitches him this idea. It's kind of based on, the 1940s serials and that kind of adventure vibe. And Lucas genuinely came up with the idea for the name Indiana because that was his dog's name. So gotta love the line in Last Crusade, we named the dog Indiana, is 100% accurate.
But you got to say it more Connery-like. I named the dog Indiana.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Well, you say it like that, and I don't think I can top it.
I'll take it.
So George Lucas went to the studio with the idea. Like he pitched it to Spielberg. They kind of developed it together. He took it to the studio, and the studio did not want Spielberg. Hilarious to think about.
It's not like he's done anything.
Well, at that point in his career, for the last 3 movies he'd done, he'd gone over budget. That was Jaws, Close Encounters, and 1941.
Yeah, don't give that guy any money.
And 1941 bombed at the box office.
True.
So it was one of those where it's like, Jaws and Close Encounters, yeah, but he went over budget. So if you keep making good things, we're willing to keep bringing you in. But you made a big bomb with 1941. No.
A bombing in 1941. That's not, Anyway,
it's a movie about the war. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, me neither. Everyone's got a bad day in the office. It's all right. Yeah.
So Paramount told George Lucas to find another director, but he refused to make it without Spielberg.
That's loyalty.
Yeah, they knew this was going to be a good idea, so they greenlit it. Spielberg did tons of pre-production. Like they built a ton of things in miniature. Like they did a lot of things to scale back the budget as best they could.
As one should.
And he came in under budget. And George Lucas has this great quote which he says to Paramount after, which is, if you hire the greatest director in the world, making movies is easy. Which is like kind of a badass way to say, I told you so shut up. So when they were kind of putting this movie together, they had 4 paintings commissioned to kind of conceptualize the look of the movie. So these paintings were done by Jim Steranko, and they were based on a couple different things. They were based on a Humphrey Bogart film, Treasures of the Sierra Madre, Doc Savage, and a promo still from a 1937 film, Zorro Rides Again. So they were kind of using a lot of those designs. Hilariously, one of the initial concepts for Tote, he was designed to have a mechanical arm, it had a machine gun in it, and a radio antenna.
That sounds awesome.
Lucas vetoed that right out. So when they were starting casting for this movie, Spielberg was like, so yeah, we're going to ask Harrison, right? Because like they were buddies, like, they had already worked together on American Graffiti. But Lucas was like, no, I don't want him to become my Bobby De Niro. Referring to Scorsese.
Because who wants a Bobby De Niro, right? I mean,
yeah. Well, he didn't want Harrison to feel kind of shackled to working with only him for the rest of his career. And the names of the alternate possibilities for Indiana Jones are the wildest mix of people I've ever heard in my life. You have Nick Nolte, Steve Martin, Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, Jack Nicholson, Mark Harmon, Michael Biehn, Bruce Boxleitner, from Tron, and David Hasselhoff.
You've got 2/3 of the Three Amigos in there. I'm waiting for Martin Short. And I would love to see that one now. Somebody mid-journey me that right now.
There's an SNL sketch there somewhere.
Yeah.
Eventually, they were going to give it to Tom Selleck. Now, I know there is a joke rumor that he wasn't able to do it because they asked him to shave his mustache, and he was like, no. It was really just he was scheduled on Magnum PI.
Oh, yeah.
He was consistently on Magnum PI, and he could not get out of it. So he dropped out, and they cast Ford 3 weeks before production began. Nuts to think that he
I guess we'll go with Harrison this time.
Yeah, I guess we'll settle for Harrison Ford. Karen Allen was also like a little bit down the list. So the other possibilities they had for Marion was Maureen McCormick, Jane Seymour, Deborah Winger, Mary Steenburgen, Sean Young, and Dee Wallace, which again, a kind of weird mix of people. But Spielberg saw Animal House, saw Karen Allen in that, and he was like, that's the vibe, that's the attitude, that's the sass, that's what we need for Marion. There's only one other name I've seen as an alternate casting that is of any interest, and that is Sala. Jonathan Rhys-Davies, fantastic as Sala. They originally wanted DeVito. Yeah. Right?
I can both see that working and also seeing that not working.
See, I could see it working at the time because this was also like part of the reason he couldn't do it was DeVito. If I remember correctly, he was in the middle of production on Taxi.
Yeah.
But
That's what I was thinking. I was just thinking Taxi era DeVito playing Sala.
Yeah.
Just this angry little man.
Yeah, it could have worked there. It would have been really funny when we hit Dial of Destiny and it's current era DeVito. Oh, yeah. That would be a whole different thing. But they start production on the movie. Apparently Spielberg's first idea for the film was the dissolving from the Paramount logo to the real mountain, which is not only cool, it became like a trope for the entire rest of the series. So this movie is also like full of phobias. I remember on one of the DVDs for one of these movies, it was like the creepy crawlies. And it's Spielberg being like, well, yeah, in every movie we wanted to have something kind of creepy, crawly, and gross to kind of skeeze the audience out a little bit. And I don't think he said skeeze, but
No, I think that's the word they used back then. Let's go with
sure. That. So like Temple of Doom, it's the bugs,
and it really yeeted them out too.
Yeah, like Last Crusade, it's the rats. So in this one, the first one of those scenes they have is when Indy goes into the cave with Alfred Molina. And they go through all the spider webs and they turn around and Molina's back is just covered in tarantulas. And they were all just dead still.
They look fake.
Yeah, they look fake. It looks like we just planted these spiders on him and they're just made of rubber. Turns out all the spiders that have been put on him were male. And without the presence of a female, they were just kind of chilling. So they put a female on Molina, and now all of the spiders start scurrying and kind of start doing that. And Spielberg tells Molina, act scared. We've only got one shot at this. And Molina says, I don't need to act. And just, I'm sure he didn't, sounded a little better than that. But
sounds accurate.
Yeah.
Go on.
And another iconic bit in that opening scene is, of course, the boulder chase. So in the original set, it wasn't super long. They actually extended that set out by about 50 feet. Because they wanted to give Harrison more space to run. They wanted to give it more, camera movement to show like just how close this boulder is to kind of running him over. And I do think it's interesting. So the original draft of the script includes a trip to Shanghai and a minecart chase.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that does get reused.
Well, that is interesting because Temple of Doom is supposed to be a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That is what they say. Yes. One of the next scenes that has a lot of like interesting stories around it is the scenes in Tunisia. So that is like the city right outside of the excavation site where they're trying to find the miniature and the stone and that. So when they were filming, almost 200 members of the crew got food poisoning. So they were miserable for multiple days. One of the people who wasn't sick, Spielberg. Apparently his diet at this point in the shoot consisted entirely of bottled water and tin cans of SpaghettiOs.
See, he knew ahead of time that you don't want to drink the water there, all these various things about parasites in the food. He could have warned someone.
Could have. Also, SpaghettiOs, Steve.
Yeah, well.
Like, SpaghettiOs are kind of gross.
The man likes what he likes.
Yes. But because of that, one of the most iconic scenes in movie history was kind of born. So in that scene, right after Marion has been taken, when Indy is running through the bazaar trying to find Marion, he comes across that swordsman. And there was supposed to be a huge choreographed fight scene. And after like seeing the thing come out, like he does the whole thing, Harrison just kind of looks at him and then just kind of looks over to Spielberg and goes, "I'll just shoot the sucker."
He's got a gun on him.
Because he has food poisoning.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't have the attention. Like, I can't physically do whatever fight scene you're going to have us do here. And I might as well just use the fact that you gave me a gun just once.
Well, on the day he came in, everybody was feeling it. He comes in and says, "Steven, you got 3 hours." Yeah. But we've got this entire fight season. I've only got 3 hours in me. This is what you got. So then they came up with that.
Yeah. And apparently George Lucas hated the change. He really wanted this big fight because he wanted to kind of show the expertise of Indiana Jones. But test audiences loved it. Shocking no one, because it's a great scene.
It's a legendary scene and a legendary story behind it, too. It goes down as one of the best less is more stories in Hollywood.
Yeah. So the next, the scene in the tomb full of snakes. This scene right here behind me. Apparently, Spielberg originally wanted between 7,000 and 10,000 snakes. That's a lot of snakes, Steve. That's a ton of snakes.
And from the looks of that picture, did he not get what he asked for? Because that looks like a lot, too.
No, they pillaged every pet store in London they could find, because that was kind of their headquarters, was shooting the soundstage stuff with this. They could not find anywhere close to 7,000 snakes. So a lot of these snakes here are actually rubber tubes. They took like rubber hose and cut it to length and coiled it in places, and they would put like real snakes on top of them.
Yeah.
But it got the job done. And it kind of goes along with Spielberg's thing of like, this thing isn't working. Well, I can make it work with this. And kind of working his way around it.
You have to ask, though, that cave had been sealed for centuries, a millennium. Yep. What are these snakes eating, first of all? How are they surviving in there?
Good question. Answer, snakes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Answer, the power of the Ark of the Covenant.
Sure. I was going to go with snakes eating snakes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that was a thing in like Piranha 3D. They were like, how did they survive? They ate the weak ones. These are the ones that lived. And I was like, that sounds horrifying.
Well, good point.
And we will talk about that movie later because I do love that movie. Now, did you know that in this scene where they find the Ark and they're kind of pulling it out, did you know that there is a Star Wars cameo here?
There sure is.
Yeah. So in hieroglyphs going along the side of the tomb, there's very clearly C-3PO and R2-D2 just kind of hanging out.
And in that same moment, I believe it's even the same moment, may I just pull the curtain back on the behind the scenes of a practical effect that I love. The Ark that they lifted for that beautiful silhouette shot was just a flat.
Yeah. Yep. Because what was the most important part of that shot?
That silhouette. Exactly. The iconic silhouette. And even if you shot it with a real light and everything, you wouldn't get that iconic silhouette. It would just be too much depth there. You'd get the idea, but it wouldn't be like a page ripped out of a comic book, which that was.
Now, hilariously, in this scene where you got all of these snakes going, like it's famously known that the one thing that rattles Indiana Jones is he's afraid of snakes. Why does it have to be snakes? Like he hates them. Harrison Ford loves snakes. Doesn't really care otherwise. There is a member of the cast, though, that is genuinely terrified of snakes.
Spielberg?
Karen Allen. When she is literally climbing Harrison Ford to avoid standing on the snakes. It seems like a real kind of reaction to all of kind of going on around her. Jake! I don't know why we're scared. Maybe it's because I'm in a snake pit. Maybe
why
it's
did
also
it have to be snakes?
Well, I don't mind snakes. What I do mind are people, I'm rolling my eyes as I say it, but people not liking, commenting, and subscribing. But no, like seriously, like, comment, and subscribe. That sounded really mean to be asking people to like, comment, and subscribe that way. But it really does help. And if you're listening to this as an audio podcast, leave a review. Sound off in the comments. Is there a movie that you look at and you say this completely changed the industry? And we'll read them and see. It very well could be an upcoming episode.
Absolutely.
Now there is one guy who actually holds a distinction in this franchise. This one actor has been killed 4 times in the Indiana Jones movies. Twice in this movie. Well, Pat Roach is the actor. Okay, so who are the 2 in this that he is?
Can this count as my trivia?
No.
Never does. He played both the guy with the sword that got shot and the Nazi who got hit by the propeller blades.
Oh, he was not the swordsman.
See, I lose that one anyway. I'm glad I didn't count.
He's credited in the movie as Giant Sherpa. So in the bar fight with Marion, but like when her bar catches fire.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
He's killed somewhere in there. So in Temple of Doom, he's listed as Chief Guard.
Yes.
And I think that means he's the guy who like gets his foot pulled into the crusher.
That's the guy. Yeah. Yeah.
And in Last Crusade, he's just listed as a Gestapo agent. Now, one of the big moments, clearly at the end of the movie, is when they open the Ark and Indy realizes, Marion, keep your eyes shut. No matter what happens, do not look. And of course, Belloc and Tote and other Nazi guy all look into the Ark and they just brutally die. I
do always wonder who told Indy, who told you don't look? I mean, it makes sense, hey, why not? That's probably a wise decision, but he seemed very certain. He did seem certain. It's been a while since I've watched it. I can't help but feel like that's one of those, like, only the penitent can pass. Yeah, but like they said a throwaway thing earlier. It's one of, but it actually, I don't believe it had a actual throwaway line to set that up. It's one of those things in movies when I absolutely love and hate. When I see it, I mean, I'm serious on both sides of that, is when you see somebody draw a conclusion that was never brought up before. For instance, if we kill Freddy Krueger like this, he's definitely going to die. No one told you that. No one tells you this. You just made that up. If he dies, he's a ghost. He's just going to come back. Yeah. What is he now? Oh, yeah, a ghost. Yes. So whenever I see this happen in movies, I always go, who told you that? Yeah. So the iconic like Tote face melting, which is apparently a candle that I badly want. Where you light it, his face melts. Yep. So that apparently took about 10 minutes to film. They built a fake head made of like gelatin and yarn and wool to kind of simulate, the sinew and the muscle tissue and the skin. Put some really powerful heat guns on it and just blasted it with heat. And just filmed it for 10 minutes and then sped it up like crazy. I think we can both kind of agree, seeing what happens to those characters in that final thing, like, yeah, they're Nazis, like, but it is a wild jump in violence from like what the movie has been. And because of this, Raiders was almost rated R. Because at this point, keep in mind, there is no PG-13. So it was either going to be PG or R. And they were really setting out to be like this is a movie for everybody. Like, we don't want to limit like kids from being able to see this movie. So they had to tweak some of those deaths right there at the very end to make them a little bit more tame, which is why Belloc just straight up explodes. I think, didn't they, to appease the MPAA, to hide some of the gore, added more fire in front of them too, to kind of hide it? That is true. Yes. They added more fire cascading across their faces so that it was more obscured. And then, yeah, you can't see it as much.
just explodes.
Another favorite example of that for me is, I think, in season 1 of Hannibal, if you're familiar with this.
Oh, I love Hannibal.
There is a scene where it's with the angels, where basically somebody's going around killing people, tearing their bodies apart, putting them on display to look like angels with wings coming out of their back. It's gross and it's wonderful. But the ratings and the censors all said, oh my God, this shot is horrible. It's awful. You cannot do this. You cannot show that person's butt crack. But there's their guts are out. They're filleted on NBC, and you're okay with that? Yes. Oh, we know how to solve that. To hide the butt crack, put some more blood on it.
Yeah, just see some more blood in there.
Okay.
I kid you not. My girlfriend and I just finished a rewatch of the whole series. And after hearing that story, I took express notice of every time a butt crack was obscured by anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's hard not to once you know that little fact. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. The MPAA is fun. We should do a whole episode about the MPAA one day. So, fun story. Fun comparison, really.
Yeah.
What does Raiders of the Lost Ark have in common with Matt Reeves's The Batman?
All I can think of is there is this theory that Indiana Jones doesn't actually affect anything in this movie.
You are correct, sir.
You did. Okay.
It is a story point. Yes. In both Indiana Jones and the Batman, the hero does absolutely nothing. If the hero was not there, aside from, I'll say, maybe saving Marion in the bar, aside from that.
Well, yes.
Because that could have also gone like, they knock her out and take the thing. And they leave. Yeah. She might be fine afterwards. Who knows? Yes. But aside from that, Indy does absolutely nothing. The problem solved itself.
Yes.
And in that case, in Batman's story, the bad guys just did what they were going to do anyway.
Yeah. Riddler was going after Falcon. Oh, yeah.
Even down to the beginning, when Indy is stealing the idol, he doesn't even get the idol. He doesn't get away with it, which I always thought was funny. He ran away. Why did they chase him? They have what they wanted.
Yeah, they have what they want. I think Belloc says something in their language. When he does that, like,
well, like, he sent them after him. Yes.
Yeah.
But why? You have what you want. You can be like, all right, that's fine.
I think I know why. Belloc's a dickhead.
That's true. So that, I can go with that.
Yeah, but I can also go with, it's game time, you son of a bitch. That's right. We are here for game time.
Like a trap set off by a stone on the ground. You got me.
It's a pressure plate. What are you going to do?
Yes.
I got 5 questions for you. Honestly, I think you're going to do well. I know you always seem really down on yourself, but I genuinely think you're going to do well with this.
Here's the thing. As long as the questions actually have to do with the movie,
you know what?
I won't mind if I lose.
Look at it this way. I gave you a bonus chance to potentially win with that because you were already losing. So you can be mad all you want, but you already only had 1 of 3, and I was giving you a chance to get more points last week. So
all right.
Take that sass and go to the Snake Temple.
I mean, I'll take it.
Okay. So question number 1.
You
know what? And we'll make, I'll let you change this order because I had a different question 1, but you already brought it up earlier. So this is a perfect thing. So new question 1.
Okay.
What order does this film fall chronologically in the series?
Second.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll take it.
See, there you go. Yes, it does fall second. There's a great quote that I love from Spielberg. When they were kind of pitching Temple of Doom, where he said, like, they were like, all right, well, we got to figure out a new love interest. And he's like, new love interest? No, Marion. Like Marion's the girl for him. And they're like, yeah, no, but we have to get, like, if you're wanting a James Bond vibe, you have to give him a new love interest. And he's like, well, I don't like that. Like, I want him to end up with Marion. And they're like, well, how about this? Why don't we set this before that one so that he can date this girl and then still get with Marion? And he's like, okay, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And then he gets with a Nazi for a little while, and then,
it's a whole, I think that's after Marion leaves him.
Thank you for also keeping it to the movies and not hitting me all of a sudden with, but hold on, the Young Indiana Jones series and getting into that. Oh, you
Swear
son
to
of a
God,
bitch,
Jake.
you are.
Swear to God, I will come through the screen. I will get you. I'll do it.
Oh, you are doing it.
We'll see. All right. Question number 2. There's an animated series that came out several years after this movie, Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. The characters of Chip and Dale are inspired by 2 iconic characters that are directly tied to this film. Those characters.
Indiana Jones and Magnum P.I. Both up for that role of Indiana Jones, or Harrison Ford and Tom Selleck.
Exactly. Yes. I always thought that was very funny, and I do really like the joke in the newer movie where they're running through the convention and they each grab, like, whichever one is dressed like Magnum PI grabs an Indiana Jones costume, and the one who's dressed like Indy grabs a Magnum PI costume, dressed like each other, and they're like, "Oh yeah, okay, there's the problem." All right, here we go. Like, great joke, love it. All right, so question number 3.
Hey, I'm doing all right.
You're 2-2.
I just jinxed it. Let's go.
Might have jinxed it. Belloc, Paul Freeman. He plays an iconic 90s movie villain. Who?
Iconic 90s movie villain.
Yes. Very 90s.
Very iconic?
I would say, yeah.
Okay. Not obscure like cult classic.
Oh.
Iconic, right?
Oh, this movie got a theatrical release, did relatively well at the box office, I think.
I am stalling. I tap. Don't know.
Correct answer is Ivan Ooze.
I would not have gotten that. No way I would have gotten that. But good. Okay.
Iconic. Like, you can't deny iconic.
Iconic, sure, yes.
I
loved his appearance in X-Men Apocalypse. It was great.
I also thought he was fantastic in Hot Fuzz.
Oh.
He's the priest. Fuck off, grasshopper. Like, and pops the guns out of his, So yeah, still working.
Hey, wow.
All right. So, 2 of 3. Not doing too bad.
Okay. And I don't mind losing to that one. I don't. Was that. All right. Yeah.
So you're gonna stop giving me shit about these questions? Yeah.
Depends on the question.
Question number 4. This one does relate to the entire franchise.
Okay.
How many times does Harrison Ford appear as Indiana Jones?
Now, here's the thing. We have now 5 movies, right? And his appearance in the Young Indiana Jones series. I think he only appears once in that series. So I'm going to say 6.
You are correct.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so I'll give you a bonus point here, also, if you want it.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name the episode title?
I surely cannot. I can tell you he had a beard.
He did. It is Young Indiana Jones and the Mystery of the Blues. It has something to do with
I would
saxophone.
never have given you that, even off a guess.
Yeah, it has something to do with the saxophone.
Hey, 3. All right, not bad.
So, got 3 of 4, and we're moving into the final question.
Okay.
And this one, I will say, this one does have bonus points.
Okay.
So, again, you're doing great right now.
All right. Yeah, I'm feeling all right. I'm not going to get overconfident, but I'm.
Hey, again, you always do better than I think you think you're going to do. Raiders, huge hit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, kind of did gangbusters at the Academy Awards.
Oh boy. I know. I think I know where this is going.
First part of the question is just the very simple question. How many Academy Awards did it take home?
Since I don't know, I'm just going to say 3.
Oh, I'm sorry. The correct answer is 5.
All right. Okay.
Okay. But here's your bonus points.
Mm-hmm.
What 5 categories did it for?
I had a feeling that was going to be the follow-up there. I'll just say visual effects because
visual effects is correct.
Okay, that's what. Yay, 1. All right.
There you go.
Special effects, makeup effects.
No makeup effects.
I was just covering your end on that one.
No, you're good.
Original score, John Williams.
Shockingly, no.
Oh.
which is wild considering that to date John Williams has won score 52 times. All right, so you got 2 more guesses. You're at 4 out of 5.
2 more guesses. Okay. Let's say I'll say original screenplay.
It was not original screenplay. You got
Okay.
1 more guess.
I got 1 more guess.
1 of 4 possibilities to get you to that 5 of 5. You're at 4 of 5 points right now.
Hey, why not?
You're already doing good.
A supporting actor?
No, I'm sorry. It was it did not win for best supporting actor. So the Oscars that Raiders ended up winning. You got best visual effects, best art direction, best film editing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Best sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
And best sound editing.
See, now I should have learned something from our episode with Katie.
Yeah. But you got 4 out of 5 points wise. That is a success. See,
I'll take it.
You're not as bad at these as you think you are, Jake.
We'll see.
But yeah, no, Raiders is just a fun movie. It's one of those just fun adventures.
Oh yeah.
That Hollywood doesn't really make a lot of anymore.
And one of those that if it's one of those first movies you see as a kid, like at least in our groups, I mean, how many of those kids grew up wanting to be in the industry too? Yeah.
It is a movie that thoroughly inspires people, just with pure joy of filmmaking put behind it.
There's even a shot-for-shot remake, I believe, on YouTube. And I mean, like I said, it inspires so many people to do it, and it's absolutely one of my favorites.
Heck, one of the earliest YouTube videos I saw on how to do like special effects makeup yourself was this channel called Indie Mogul that did a backyard effects, and one of them was how to do the face melt from Raiders.
Oh yeah,
it's like it is a movie that has touched so many people, and it's a great movie.
It is, and Logan, I think we're going to leave it at that today. Where can the people find you, Dr. Jones?
I'm findable. You can find me on Twitter at FilmGuy89, Instagram and Threads at FilmGuy1989. You can find me on YouTube. We do a lot of various table readings. I don't think we've done a reading for this, but I know we have done readings for a few of the unmade Indiana Jones. Like Indiana Jones and the Monkey King and Indiana Jones and the City of God. I think we've done both of those.
Be sure to check out the link below because I will be including those.
Yeah. How about you? Where can they find you?
You can find me and my company at VFX2Go on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And one of these days I'll post the Threads. But you can also find us on our website, VFX2Go.com. And Logan.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
We have a website,
I had a feeling.
Yeah. You can find us at www.hollywoodunveiled.com. You can find us on the socials at Hollywood Unveiled Podcast.
Indeed.
Yes.
This I can't wait to see what other movies we get into as we kind of keep doing this series. It's really fun doing these different deep dives, and then getting to balance it with talking to these fantastic people and kind of seeing the different side of the industry. It's changing how I'm watching these movies when we're going back on these rewatches.
So much fun. And Logan, with that, one of these days we'll figure out how to end this show. But until then, Dr. Jones.
It's not the years, it's the mileage.
I'll go with that.